All right, so first of all, we're here at First String Sports. Paul Meadors, Austin Kemp with the Clovis Sports Report. This is awesome. Check out this setup, Austin. We got this banner down here, the First String Sports printed out for us. We got Letterman's jackets back there. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a second. We have the All-Clovis 2019 football team right here. As you can see, Austin,
Waiting
what did
to
you
be
do?
revealed. We put some little tape over the names, and kind of as we reveal and talk about these kids, we will pull off the tape, so there'll be kind of like a running count as we're talking, so you can always kind of go back, reference it throughout the show.
Yeah, awesome.
So
I love it.
we're fired up about it.
And right now we're actually looking at 3 different cameras. We got
High production.
high production. We got a video going, because we're gonna make a video out of this to put up on the website. We have Twitter Live on my account, and we have Twitter Live on your account, right?
Yep. So
Okay, so we're gonna be looking at 3 different cameras. We're so excited about this event. These Letterman's jackets are awesome. So over there we got Clovis, we have Clovis East, we have Buchanan, Clovis West, and Clovis North. At First String Sports, this is the place to go for Letterman's jacket. Austin, you still have yours?
I still have mine. I wore it one time in my life, but it looks cool.
It looks cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah, Austin's a Buchanan grad. I graduated from Emmanuel. They also do Emmanuel's jackets as well. I got mine in my closet. I busted it out for an 80s party once.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah,
looks cool.
Absolutely. So we are here for the first annual inaugural 2019 All-Clovis football team. The website that I started in August is it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun because of the community. Austin came along right before league started, and we've been doing videos, but I just want to say a big thank you to all you guys out there, the parents, the coaches, administrators, grandparents, for supporting the Clovis Sports Report. It's been great. We love getting feedback from you guys, and so this is just a culmination of the whole season.
Yeah.
We started doing some filming in early August. I went out to a few practices, got to know the kids that way, watched a lot of football games. We didn't miss one Friday all week, but we wanted to do something special to honor 23 specifically football players for the 2019 season.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that we are doing 11 on offense, 11 on defense, position specific, so it won't be a list that has, I don't know, like 5 running backs on the team, or it won't have 8 wide receivers. It's going to be quarterback, 2 running backs, receivers, and 5 offensive linemen, just like you would line up and play with. So I think it is an honor to make this All-Clovis team because it is so exclusive and position specific.
Yeah, and I think, well, let's reveal a couple of the fun things that these kids are going to get. So one is, talk about Letterman's jacket. This goes perfectly with it. Look at this. Clovis Sports Report, All-Clovis 2019, sponsored by First String Sports. Look at that. These are going to be the patches that each of the players are going to get for the Letterman's jackets. So this is awesome. We're very excited about that.
It'd be something I'd put on my Letterman jacket, but I didn't make the All-Clovis team.
No, you didn't. No. So what we're going to do,
and they're going to get a poster.
Yes,
Each family of each player will get a poster that looks exactly like this, minus the tape. It'll have a list of the entire team on it.
Yeah.
So
that is
do
great.
whatever you want with it.
Well, that is definitely something that's going to be a keepsake for a long, long time.
Right.
It'll be something 5-10 years from now. You're gonna find it in your closet, or maybe it's still in your room or whatever. You're gonna look at those names, and say, oh yeah, man, what a great honor that was, and what a great time, of high school football. Filled with great memories with some great players. So so each of the kids are gonna get one of those as well. We're really stoked about that. And again, First String Sports, put that together. We're very, very thankful for that. Some of the genesis of this All-Clovis team, Austin, let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about the criteria as well. I know, you and I have talked a lot about how we love all-star teams. We love all league lists. We love, All-Americans and all those things. So when Fresno B did their all Fresno B teams, that's something that a lot of people look forward to. We want to kind of continue with that tradition here. Hopefully, hopefully it will bring a lot of, sustenance as far as being an all-Clovis football member. But what do you remember about looking at some of those all-star teams? And, you know a lot of guys that got Fresno B Player of the Year, different things like that. So what do you think that means?
I don't know. I think it's just such an honor. I remember as a kid, when you were still getting newspapers and looking at the all Fresno B team, there was a picture of the player. There'd always be a big old profile with their season stats, what they accomplished. And I just thought as a kid that was so cool, being able to look at that, being able to read on this player. And it's just highlighting everybody's hard work that they've done throughout the entire season. And these lists haven't completely disappeared in our area. They're still out there, but this is just another opportunity for us to provide these kids with some recognition, some well-deserved recognition.
Yeah, and what we found too is that a lot of the all-league teams aren't position specific.
Right.
So we definitely wanted to say, well, who's the top 2 running backs in Clovis? Who are the top 5 offensive linemen in Clovis Unified?
Right.
And that's what we tried to pinpoint here, and we think we've done a really good job. Like I said, Austin and I we saw a lot of football this year. We talked to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of input from coaches.
And watched some film on Huddle.
Yeah, sure.
And so, we've seen it all.
Yeah.
Almost all.
Yeah, we've asked for some feedback as well from some coaches.
Yep.
Some of these picks weren't easy, though.
They weren't.
Some were slam dunks.
There's a few guys that got left off that we definitely think on maybe a different year they would have made it.
Yeah.
But again, kind of just going back to the exclusivity of our team, you could have had a great year, but there might have been maybe some other people at your position that maybe stood out even more.
Okay, so I think people are ready, Austin. I'm
ready
ready.
to go.
You're ready. The audience is ready. So this is how it's going to work. We're gonna kind of piggyback off each other. We're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna announce it. We're gonna start with the offense. We're gonna start with the top left over there. Could probably go for the top 3 players on our list here. And then Austin will go up and reveal the names, and so we'll be able to check back and look to see who we've named.
Yep.
But let's start with the quarterback.
Pick is in.
The pick is in. We went with Isaiah Robles, the quarterback from Clovis High. Isaiah is a 2-year starter over there. He threw for 1,958 yards, had an 18-5 touchdown to interception ratio. Impressive. But what impressed us this year, just as much as this passing, is he ran the ball really well this year. It's something that he added, a little dynamic to his game, and he rushed for 427 yards and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Isaiah for the first time in 2018 against Buchanan, and I remember seeing him make throws. He's hitting the cover 2 void really well for a high school quarterback and super athletic, and he kind of just continued to build off of that strong junior year as a senior. And like Paul said, nearly 2,000 yards passing, nearly 500 on the ground with about 30 touchdowns. Great year for a senior quarterback.
Yeah, congrats.
Our running back, we have 2 running backs. Our running back 1 will be Kendall Milton, the senior from Buchanan High School. Most of you guys know Kendall's story, but if you haven't, a 4-year starter on varsity. This year he went 1,261 yards, 20 rushing touchdowns in 9 games. He did miss 4 with an injury, but before that, he was great. When he came back, he was great. Gonna go down as maybe the best player in Buchanan history and one of the top talents in the history of the Central section, and I don't think that can be debated. Career-wise, 4,500 yards and 76 rushing touchdowns.
So definitely a storied career for the running back that's headed to the University of Georgia next month.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, he's already graduated.
Already
So
graduated.
he'll be in class in college within a couple weeks.
Yeah, that was a slam dunk pick for us for sure.
Yeah.
Our other running back is the only sophomore on this list.
Yeah.
The only sophomore on the All-Clovis team. It is Tristan Risley from Clovis, another Clovis kid. He came on strong, especially towards the end of the year. His first 3 games didn't rush for 100 yards. Then he went 9 straight 100-yard rushing games. Ended up with 1,338 yards, 8.1 yards per carry. Very impressive. 15 touchdowns. His most memorable moment that we saw was against Clovis West in the final game of the regular season. 217 yards
Yep.
on the ground on 29 carries. yeah, he was very impressive, especially towards the end of the year. He's just a downhill runner, not physically, imposing.
Yeah, and like he gets downhill real fast. I noticed that early watching him in the year. He get that handoff in 2 steps.
Yeah.
I felt like he was up at top speed, getting downhill, didn't shy away from contact, and
Yeah.
a really, really good player with a huge future.
Something that we noticed too during the year, we did not see him fumble. I don't think he fumbled. And we didn't see him get really hit hard all year too. He's just one of those kids that has a knack for, not getting hit hard, sidestepping some guys and getting down. So yeah, Tristan Risley, congratulations, the only sophomore. And here we go.
Let me
Here's the reveal.
update the running count. There we go.
John Boston, you did that with style.
I know. I was hoping I didn't mess that one up.
Our first wide receiver is...
We have 2 wide receivers.
2 wide receivers.
And 1 tight end.
And 1 tight end. Our first wide receiver is also from Clovis High, Grant Lake. He's a senior that really stepped up this year. We were expecting good things from him, and he really produced almost 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Received 968 yards with 10 touchdowns on 50 catches. He was Robles' go-to guy. That was another one of our slam dunk picks. He's a very good receiver. He was somebody that the defenses focused on all year.
Right, and he was very accountable as a receiver. And you could really see Robles' trust going to Lake. They needed a 3rd and 7, 2nd and 15 to try and cut the yardage in half. He was always reliable, good route runner, kind of a safety net for Isaiah Robles.
Absolutely. So congrats to Grant Lake.
Our next and final wide receiver on the All-Clovis team, we have David Piero, a junior from Clovis West. On the season, he was 74 catches for 1,096 yards, 10 touchdowns, and was also a starter at cornerback. Just kind of, I saw David a few times play this year, and I thought he was probably the most athletic wide receiver in, maybe not the track, but on this All-Clovis team in consideration. We saw against Buchanan go 17 catches in a game, which is extremely rare for high school football and for any level of football. I'm just wowed by his overall athleticism. And then our tight end, our only tight end on this team, also comes from Clovis West. It is a junior, Marcel Sanders. Marcel could have made this team as a defensive lineman. We have some other pretty good defensive linemen that got the nod, but he definitely deserved a list on this team, which is why we made him a tight end. Not a ton of gaudy wide receiver or receiving numbers, but he was always a guy that opened lanes for that Clovis West running attack. Every time he was in, you can go back, watch the film. He would collapse the line on his side. He could pull around, kick people out. Very physical, and a lot of Clovis West big gains on the ground were when Marcel Sanders was in the game as a tight end blocking.
Yeah.
And he left a pretty big impact on those certain plays.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Congrats on Marcel, and he's a junior. So, all right, we can rip it off. I'm kind of watching here on a little delayed Twitter. If you guys, when you're out there, make sure you click on the full screen. If you're not on the full screen right now, it is it's cutting a couple things off. So just open that up. Our live viewers, open that thing up. Make sure you see full screen so you can get all the Letterman's jackets and everything. Boy, you
got to go full screen. We're just recognizing that. Make sure you have a full screen. You'll be able to see this list and everything else that kind of surrounds us.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're getting into the offensive linemen. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed a guy.
We'll go.
No, I got to get Chandler.
Okay.
All right, we'll go to the bottom. Okay, so from Clovis East, we have Chandler Hamilton. He's a senior. This guy was just a dynamic player all the way around. We knew he was good. I saw 3 Clovis East games this year, and he's very dynamic. You got to definitely account for that guy on the field, and his numbers were very impressive. I mean, he caught 35 passes for 560 yards and 5 touchdowns. As a running back, he had 1,113 yards and 13 touchdowns. He also returned 2 kicks for touchdowns, 1 punt and 1 kickoff. So Chandler Hamilton, definitely, one of the best players in the track.
Yep.
He's one of those guys where, you know, we could have put him at running back, we could have put him at wide receiver.
And another guy that kind of just went under the radar the entire year. So it's good that he's getting some recognition because, again, these numbers we just read off. I mean, who in this section beat those numbers? You had 500 receiving, over 1,000 rushing. That's a huge year.
Yeah.
And all Clovis worthy.
Yeah, absolutely impressive. All right. So we're going to get into our offensive linemen. Now these guys, a lot of times they get ignored, right? They get ignored because they don't put up stats.
Yeah.
They don't score the touchdowns, but they definitely are, you know, are just as important as everybody else on the field, if not the most important part.
Without a good O-line, you got nothing else.
All right.
So starting it off, we have a senior from Buchanan, the center, Zane Ricks. Ricks was a guy, obviously the starting center. He didn't come off the field on offense, I mean, unless it was a blowout. But in addition, that dude played a ton of snaps as a nose guard in Buchanan's 3-4 defense, and he would take a beating on offense, he'd take a beating on defense, and he would come off the field every single game just absolutely exhausted. And we both saw that when they played Clovis High, and we talked to him after the game, and this dude was wrecked, and he was tired, and he played a heck of a game. So I would have said on a given game where the starters were in the entire time, he probably played as a lineman 85%-ish of the total snaps for the game. Big year. He'll be missed, and because he did bring that toughness to that team.
And he's gonna play. He's gonna play a little college ball. I saw he got a couple scholarship offers. So so good for Zane.
And then sticking with Buchanan High School on the offensive line, we had senior 3-year starter Matthew MERRITT, and Matthew was another guy who went both ways. He'd be playing kind of 3-4 defensive end, and he would be playing at the guard position on offense. Had a huge stop for Central in the Valley Championship game. Central went for it 4th and 4 around midfield. Swing pass, he gets from his defensive end spot, he recognizes it, slides outside, blows up Conley, and gave the Buchanan offense a chance to go maybe win that game. But Zane Ricks, Matt MERRITT, both from Buchanan High School, All-Clovis 2019.
Well, and did you mention that MERRITT could have very easily made our team as a defensive lineman?
He could have, yeah, for sure.
Very impressive. All right, so now we have from Clovis North a senior, Cade Foraker, offensive lineman, 6'3", 265 pounds. That guy was a beast as well. I got to know him and interviewed him at the beginning of the year. He's very impressive. Just kind of one of those fiery guys, right? A guy that you definitely want on your side of the ball. So Cade was one of the best offensive linemen, played a little bit of defense as well. Just a very impressive player all year long. So we got Cade Foraker from Clovis North, congrats. From Clovis East, Daniel AKIA, senior, 5'9", 205 pounds. So
don't see very many people with those measurables play the offensive line.
But when we talk about Clovis East, they rushed for over 2,500 yards this year. Everybody knows they're a running team, right? Offensive line is the most important part of their offense for sure. We talked to a lot of coaches about that, just how it's not simple. You're just not blocking it. You're just not blocking ahead. You're just not doing just a simple pull, right?
Right.
There's lots of different.
You're cutting guys. You're pulling around, and frankly, at that size, you got to win every single snap with some type of leverage, or else you're going to get pushed back. So I don't know. A 5'9", 205 offensive lineman. You got to be tough. You got to be gritty. You got to do everything right, and that's what Daniel AKIA was for Clovis East.
Yeah, congrats to Daniel. For Clovis High, we have Garrett Harris. Some might say he was the best offensive lineman in the league this year. He's senior, 6'1", 285 pounds. You can identify those guys obviously for Clovis High pretty quickly. They always have
never ends.
These two
never
studs.
ends. There's always huge dudes coming through the O-line in that program.
So Garrett Harris, offensive line for Clovis. So that rounds out our 5.
And let me update the tracker. And there we go.
There you go. All right, now we're going to get to the defensive line. So that takes care of our 12 offensive players.
Yes, 12 offensive players, one of them a specialty.
Yeah, Chandler. All right. So what do we got on defense?
So we went with 4 defensive linemen on this year's All-Clovis team. First one we'll talk about was senior from Buchanan, ZACK STUDT. ZACK was another guy, kind of continuing the theme of these Buchanan linemen that played both sides of the ball. On our team, he ends up on defense. 37 tackles for the year, 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble. A guy that, again, played, 70% of the snaps in every single game, offense or defense. Real tough kid. And another guy, 3 seniors from Buchanan, offensive lineman or defensive line making this list. Going to be tough to replace a guy like Zach STUDT. The next defensive lineman was a junior from Clovis West, Moreland. Moreland went 55 tackles, 10 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. I think these 10 sacks, I think this might have been second in the league, something pretty close. Getting into the backfield, wreaking havoc, and a guy that is pretty poised to have a huge year as a senior next year. So Moreland, ZACK STUDT.
He was part of that big play against Clovis High, that sack fumble recovery in the second quarter.
Right.
Yeah, against Clovis High. There was a huge momentum play for Clovis West in that game. Austin.
Yeah.
We haven't been doing our.
I know. I forgot the.
We're rolling.
I forgot the NFL draft little sound that I played the first time and never came back to it. I actually, quite frankly, forgot.
I know.
But
can you do one right now?
Yeah.
And next up,
the pick is in.
The pick is in, and this was another no-brainer. This is a guy that just is a wrecker out there, man. Just a beast. KEANU Williams, Clovis High. He's only a junior. 6'5", 285 pounds.
Yeah.
How many of those do you see?
Not many, and that's why he's a 4-star recruit.
He's a 4-star recruit.
247 Sports.
He's I think by this summer he's going to have pretty much everybody after him.
Yeah.
As far as college goes, he's got some great offers already. So KEANU, he's on the year. So check out these stats from a D lineman. These are very impressive stats. The 82 tackles, right? 13 tackles for loss and 8 sacks. Some of those tackles for losses are just like where he just would engulf, a running back. Just grab him and throw him down, and you just make mincemeat.
After overpowering pretty much every O lineman that he played against.
Yeah, very impressive, very fun to watch. So KEANU, a All-Clovis defensive lineman, and another Clovis kid, AYDEN MERRIHEW. He's a junior. He's 6'3" and 230 pounds. He had 33 tackles and 3 sacks. This is somebody that Coach Hammond at the beginning of the year pointed out to me. He said, Paul, this kid is on a trajectory as well to be a Division I type player. Yeah. Good size, good mobility, a good motor. He was definitely, when you got KEANU and AYDEN, it's almost like pick your poison a little bit.
Yeah, and what stuck out to me with AYDEN was just watching the film on him. He's really long, and it was tough for what I saw some offensive linemen to fully get engaged with AYDEN because he could kind of bench press him and get him out there and then throw him wherever he wanted to. And obviously as a defensive end, that's probably your most important thing you're going to do.
Yeah.
And he was real good at it, and he popped on film. I watched their Liberty game early in the year, and I was like, who is this number 97? I had never seen this kid playing. And I just kept watching him. This kid's legit. Yeah. And I came away every single game more impressed with him as the season went on. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, now we're getting.
Let's update the D-line tracker. We had KEANU Williams, ZACK STUDT, Moreland, and AYDEN MERRIHEW.
All right, now we're getting into the linebackers.
Getting into the linebackers. We got 3 linebackers this year. And the first linebacker was a senior from Clovis West, Mateo Morales.
One of our no-brainers.
One of our no-brainers coming into the year. I was telling people, send Cal Preps in person. I was like, this guy is maybe the best linebacker in the section. He is super physical. He also wrestles. That's probably why he's so physical. He was playing offense early in the year, and then he got hurt. He missed, I think, 2 games in league play. And there was a difference. There was a difference in that defense without Mateo out there. He had 140 tackles this season, which then if you miss 2 games, that would be in 9 games. So 140 tackles in 9 games, 1 fumble recovery, 3 forced fumbles, and 4 sacks. When you were watching Clovis West, you could also tell, like before the snap, he was kind of like that vocal leader for Clovis West. He was getting guys lined up. He did a lot more than just produce tackles on the field, and he lands on our All-Clovis team. Next linebacker is also from Clovis West. It is a senior, Tanner Ewell. Tanner went 130 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, 2 forced fumbles in 10 games because he also missed some time with an injury for Clovis West. Tanner is, when you watch them play, he is pretty physically imposing. He's about 6'3", 225. Plays with a huge motor, always fired up. You can see that he wore his emotions on his sleeve.
He looked like a football dude.
He looked like a football dude. He had a little crop top showing. But I was talking to some Clovis West coaches after one of their games, and this was kind of a continuing theme throughout the season. They told me there's sometimes when Tanner's at linebacker, he will call out the play that's coming when he's out there. And that's just a testament to maybe getting after it in the film room, doing your studying outside of football, and just doing everything right. So Mateo Morales, Tanner Ewell, our first 2 linebackers.
And if you guys have just logged in, over here we have the running tally. Make sure again you guys go full screen on this. We have a running tally over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more kids to celebrate. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. This has been a lot of fun. All right, our other linebacker from Clovis East, we have senior Blake Baldwin. This guy is an impressive dude. Just in 5 league games, we have league stats from him. He had 49 tackles, 4 sacks, and 4 tackles for loss. I mean, he was one of those guys that was just a football dude. You know, he's kind of one of those prototypical Clovis East guys. He's just gritty and gets after it and hits the weight room hard. He also played fullback. So he's one of those guys who's on the field about 80% of the time. Scored a few touchdowns as well. But yeah, that guy was ready to hit. And yeah, I mean, he's very, very impressive up there. So our 3 linebackers, Mateo Morales, Tanner Ewell, and Blake Baldwin.
Got 4 more guys to go. All right. So we are moving on to the defensive backs. So first defensive back, we'll go C.J. Jones, senior, Buchanan High School, and a Fresno State signee. C.J. 5 interceptions on the year, and there was a game this year versus Clovis North. He went 3 TDs in 1 game, none of them coming on the offensive side of the ball. 2 pick sixes and a kick return for a touchdown. CJ is the best defensive back in the section. I'll put that up against anybody. I don't care. Or best cornerback, I should say. You could stick him on an island with any receiver. He did a good job locking him up. He's athletic. He's long. Good qualities for a cornerback. And so CJ Jones lands on our list. And the next defensive back was a safety from Buchanan. We went with Brandon Hernandez, a senior. Brandon didn't have the huge defensive stats that you might think, because he also started at wide receiver where he scored 9 touchdowns, and he easily could have been a wide receiver. But we stuck him at defensive back because, first of all, we wanted to get him on this team. Just by watching him play, he definitely fit the bill of an all-Clovis team. And there was a time when Buchanan had a starting safety out, and Brandon filled in very nicely for him, and Buchanan would leave him in the backfield as a single high safety. They trusted him while he was the starting X-receiver at Buchanan, and he did everything right. He played, he just knew his responsibilities, and he was there whenever his name was called, he needed to make a play. He did.
Well, one play that stuck out to us on the defense, I mean, we saw him score a lot of touchdowns, you know, receiving, made some really tough catches, made some big catches in games, but there's one play that stuck out. You want to describe that play that stuck out against Clovis?
So there was a play versus Clovis. It was like a 7-0 game. Clovis High was winning. They threw a pass to the tight end over the middle of the field going into the end zone, and Brandon and the tight end kind of smashed into each other as the ball was arriving, and we all thought on the sideline and in the crowd that it was a touchdown for Clovis High, and he kind of comes out, rips the ball out for an interception and a touchback, which kind of maybe didn't change the game completely, but it was definitely a momentum changing play. And we said it in our videos all throughout the season. If you watched it, I kept saying Brandon Hernandez was sneaky one of Buchanan's most important players on the season, in my opinion, just because of everything that he could do in that defense or on offense.
Oh yeah, so impressive player. Just one of those guys that just has a nose for the ball, knows where to be in the right spot. You talked about that. All right, our last two. Another Buchanan player, Hayden Peterson, safety. Now this guy, I remember him playing last year as a sophomore, and Coach Gio would say, "Hey, Meadors, you need to keep an eye out for that kid. The kid's going to be something special." One of the best safeties out there. Had 53 tackles, a couple of interceptions, a forced fumble, and 2 blocked field goals. A ball hawk, right? I just had like Brandon, just knew where to be in the right spot, right time. He even returned a couple kicks every once in a while. Just impressive.
He's
all
impressive.
The way around.
He's like, when you look at him, obviously he's not small by any means, but when you look at him, it's not a guy that you think, hey, he's going to come down and just light you up. And Hayden will do that. He'll fly in from his safety spot. He'll close on the ball and he'll hit you. And he's super fast as well, and he can cover in open space. And there is, again, times against teams like Central, or where the Buchanan coaches, they felt comfortable leaving him out there in space on those Central wide receivers. Yeah,
impressive. And then last, but certainly not least, did I mention that Hayden's a junior?
Hayden's a
junior. Last but not least, from Clovis North, we have Michael JACOT, coach's kid. He fast as lightning. He ended up with 3 kick returns for touchdowns. He had 3 interceptions, and he had 2 blocked field goals. One that we're going to talk about in a second, but I saw 2 of those kickoffs and returns for in person.
Yeah,
it was against Edison.
Yeah,
it was against Edison. Like, he scored the first one on his birthday, and he scored the first run. They're like, okay, that's awesome. And then they kick to him again, and he just goes up the middle, outruns everybody, and scores a touchdown. He had a couple big interceptions throughout the year, but probably, I don't know, I think scoring 2 kickoff returns on your birthday is pretty cool in a win against Edison. But he actually had a game winner, right? He had a game-winning play against Clovis East. He came in and he blocked an extra point. That Twitter video got a lot of retweets and a lot of views because it was a great play. Came off the end and blocked the extra point, which ended up, I think Clovis East had scored, under 2 minutes.
Clovis East had made it 14-13, and the extra point would have tied it, and JACOT came through the line, blocked it, and he was a special teams demon in the entire season, along with playing a really good safety spot. He would flip the field with punt returns, kick returns, always put the offense in good field position, and he was a guy that I know we were going to put him on this team as a safety, but even if he for some reason wasn't on it, he's a guy that we would have to get on this team because he made an impact at what seemed like every single game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Want to go rip that final board off us?
Final board.
Look at this.
Show it. CJ Jones, Brandon Hernandez, Hayden Peterson, and Michael JACOT.
Look at that. So there you go. There is the full list, the 2019 All-Clovis team from the Clovis Sports Report.
Looks
Pretty
good.
Cool deal.
Pretty cool.
That looks great. So again, what a great group of kids that deserve to be recognized.
Yeah.
We're excited for them, excited for their futures. Some are going to go on and play college. Some have a few years left in high school. But you know, there's definitely something about high school football that is a very, very special bond that these guys create. And one of the things that I love in this media world, you know, I've always focused on Clovis for the last 5 years, is I love the sense of community and putting together the all-star teams. That, I think something like this definitely brings the community together, right? Because you do deep down, you obviously there's competition and teams want to beat each other. But when it's all over, kids are kids, man. Football players are football players, and so when you're together, you know, these guys are going to be linked together for a long time.
And it's But speaking on the whole Clovis community type of statement, like a lot of these kids are going through Clovis Unified Elementary Schools. They're going through Clovis Unified Junior High Schools, and then now they're playing for Clovis Unified High Schools. And it's like that sense of that community feeling. People know who these kids are. Maybe they've taught them in their classrooms. Maybe they've seen them just like something happen on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah.
A friend's kid, something like that. You are always hearing about these kids, and that sense of community is why we wanted to highlight this All-Clovis team.
Yeah. Again, so congratulations. You guys are going to get a patch, hopefully within 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
These boards will be ready, hopefully pretty soon as well. You guys are going to get one of these. That's pretty awesome. You get to hang it wherever you want. Yeah, so we're really excited about that. We'll contact you. I think most of your coaches know that you guys are made this team because we've talked about it with them. So they're very proud of you as well, and I'm sure your parents and family members are proud of you guys. So again, congratulations on this. Yeah, we put a lot of work into this, but it is definitely worth it.
No, it's super fun. I love doing it, and yeah, football's over, but we're still going to cover basketball, boys and girls, and then in the springtime we got some good baseball and softball stuff planned for everyone. So keep being a follower.
Yeah.
Keep tuning into our stuff.
And again, I think I mentioned this before, but we're doing this for basketball, we're doing it for baseball and softball, which is going to be great. And we love this venue. I mean, again, we got to thank First String Sports for sponsoring us and coming to us with, you know, and partnering with us. This banner is awesome. Again, they made those boards and the patches, and come here for your Letterman's jackets. And once you get your patch, you guys can be able to sew those things on here. You know, you can show it off. You're going to be the inaugural All-Clovis.
Inaugural 2019 All-Clovis team.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Austin, you got any final things to say before we wrap this up?
No, just congrats to all the kids that made this list. There was a few, there was a few guys that we thought were worthy that just didn't make it on our team this year.
Yes.
But you can't take everybody, and we thought these 23 kids were more than deserving of landing on a team like this.
Absolutely. So again, thank you guys all year for the support. We really, really appreciate it. We take it to heart. We love your ideas and your feedback and all the love that you guys give us, and in turn we love this community, and we love covering the kids and, you know, interacting with coaches and all those things. So again, thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
It's fun.